Air Hogs has improved upon their hover assault concept with the new Drop Strike, and we're going to tell you what we think about it today on RC 101 with the Taoist Flyer. The original hover assault blended a helicopter, a car, and a missile launcher all together into one badass looking vehicle. Unfortunately, the one we tested wasn't as cool in the air as it was on the ground. The new Drop Strike hopes to improve some of the flight issues by adding the ability to eject the wheelbase and fly around just like a normal helicopter. And you know what? I have to say, it actually works. When you try to fly with the wheels attached, it's not very stable, just like the original hover assault. But when you eject them, all of a sudden it flies just like any normal Air Hogs helicopter. The wheels aren't powered themselves, they're actually made of foam and allowed to spin freely. The way it moves around on the ground is by using thrust from the rotors to push it forward, and it uses torque from the rotors to spin. It's a clever way to drive around without extra motors, and it turns very quickly on the ground, but one problem I have is that the rotors keep spinning for about 1 second after you turn off the thrust. They slowly power down instead of instantly responding to the command, which means that it oversteers a lot on the ground. I also find that it interferes with landing the aircraft unless you plan ahead for the fact that the rotors are going to keep spinning for a second. It's also not cool during a crash because you just want to drop the thrust instead of letting it spin on the ground. It's meant to help new pilots land, but I think it's a feature that needs to be removed. When it comes to flight, it's a standard 2-channel helicopter. You control up, down, and spin, and it slowly moves forward on its own, but it is a smooth flyer without the wheels on. It's stable and easy to aim the missile launchers, and speaking of missile launchers, I have to say they're very nice indeed. Each missile pod tilts up and down so that when you're driving or flying, the missiles shoot at the proper angle, and they shoot far. They'll shoot all the way across the room, over 15 or 20 feet, further than any other missile launching helicopter yet. The part I had trouble with was ejecting the wheelbase in flight. The problem was, when I was driving the helicopter on the ground, it needed to be trimmed all the way to one side, but when I was flying the helicopter in the air, it needed to be trimmed all the way to the other side. This meant as soon as I ejected the wheels, it would usually spin and try and crash into the closest wall. Even though the helicopter lowers the thrust when you eject the wheels, which is pretty cool, it doesn't change the trim. If it just had an onboard gyro, then there wouldn't have really been much of a problem, but unfortunately it doesn't. I would try and trim it on the fly, but I'm just not quick enough to reach up and spin the trim about 10 or 15 times while it's ejecting, so. Altogether, the helicopter itself flies really nicely without the wheels attached, and the missile launchers are amazing, but ejecting the wheels in flight never really seemed to work for us. And we couldn't really eject the wheels while driving on the ground either and take off, so there really didn't seem to be much reason for them. They didn't add much to the experience other than making the aircraft look cool. We do want to give Air Hogs a very special thanks for letting us test out this new aircraft. Check out the new Drop Strike from Air Hogs and stay tuned for more RC 101 with the Taoist Flyer.